Hi, it's Doug. Let me tell you a true story. Halloween, 1938. At first, it was a night like any other Halloween in the United States. Children went out trick-or-treating, and after they came home, many families sat down, as they did every night, to listen to their favorite shows on this. Now, you see, back then, there were no television or computer screens. Those hadn't been invented yet. But there was radio. And as some people tuned in to their usual evening radio programs, suddenly they became very startled. What they heard was someone screaming on the radio, "Martians are landing! They're attacking!" As people heard this, many of them began to call their local police departments. Is it true? Are we really under attack by aliens from the planet Mars? We weren't under attack, as you might have guessed. What they'd been listening to was a reading of a fictional book, The War of the Worlds, written by the author H.G. Wells. The way it had been written, when read over the radio, sounded like a news broadcast. And that's why some people took it seriously and got worried. It wasn't intended to fool people, and not everyone was fooled. But enough people were worried that this gives you a sense of what people used to think we might find when we explore places in our solar system. Places like Mars, the Moon, and more. You see, back in those times, no human being had yet been to space. In fact, we hadn't sent anything into space yet. Our only knowledge of the planets depended entirely on what we could see through a telescope. And that left room for a lot of guessing. Take Mars, for example, the red planet. Through a telescope, it looked a little blurry, but it seemed to have dark markings on its surface. No one really knew what to make of these. One astronomer wrote books and argued that these might be some kind of canals or even tunnels constructed by intelligent Martians. Some people even published maps and named these. And it wasn't just Mars that people imagined things like this. For example, some people imagine that the planet Venus, since it's closer to the sun than we are, might be a tropical paradise. Imagine an entire planet filled with jungle plants and warm beaches, even strange creatures. Maybe we could go live there one day. These days, though, we don't have to try to imagine what these places look like. Not only do we have rockets capable of sending things to space, we've actually sent robotic cameras to get close-up photos of every major planet in our solar system. We've even landed robotic cameras on Venus, Mars, and one of the moons of Saturn. We've discovered amazing things. Things like the yellow skies of Mars, oceans made of flammable liquid on Saturn's moon Titan, an entire moon of Jupiter that's covered in ice, a volcano on Mars that's 3 times taller than the tallest mountain on Earth. And while it's been incredible exploring the planets and getting to see what they're really like, it's definitely not what most people expected. What people might have thought were Martian canals turned out to be simply dark features in the rock. If there ever were life on Mars, it's not there anymore, and there's no sign of it. Mars is one big, freezing cold desert made of rock and sand. In most places on Mars, daytime temperatures rarely get above -80 degrees. Even Antarctica gets warmer than Mars. And Venus? It's no tropical paradise. Far from it. Robotic cameras sent there by Russia all melted within a few hours of landing on the surface of Venus. The temperature on the surface reaches nearly 900 degrees. That's twice as hot as a kitchen oven. As I mentioned, all of these images have been taken by robotic cameras that we've sent to these planets. They're controlled by remote control from people here on Earth. So far, the only place we human beings have actually visited, besides the Earth, is the Moon. But if we ever were to travel to other planets and visit in person, it's clear that we would have to take a lot of precautions. Mars, Venus, any of the planets or moons, they all have conditions that don't make it easy for us to go visit. They're not exactly places that are habitable, good enough to live on. Based on what you know about the places in our solar system, would you visit any of these places? Where would you go? And what kinds of dangers would you have to protect yourself from?